Tonight, major crash investigators sifting through the scene of a fatal crash at Peteys, which killed a 26-year-old Port Augusta woman. And blackened bushland, charred trees and crumpled structures. Port Lincoln picking up the pieces after yesterday's bushfire took hold.
From our 7 Spencer Gulf studios, your nightly news with Madeline Kerr begins now.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. Tragedy has struck Port Augusta with a 26-year-old local woman killed in a car crash in the Flinders Ranges. An investigation is now underway into what is now the 21st death on South Australian roads so far this year. Reporter Daniel Pizarro has more.
Maddie, I'm here at the scene where a young Port Augusta woman's life has been cut tragically short, and the devastation is all there to see. A black crater is all that remains of an horrific event. Where a car used to be is now marked by burnt wood and gravel. The skid marks paint a terrifying picture. The vehicle leaving Flinders Way Road about 10 kilometres south of Quorn, skidding off the tarmac and down a gully before smashing next to a tree. Emergency crews rushed to the crash site and attempted to help the 26-year-old Port Augusta woman, who was the sole occupant of the vehicle, but sadly, she died at the scene. Flinders Way Road was closed in both directions until the early hours of Friday morning, forcing motorists and commuters to detour via Wilmington. Major crash scene investigators came up from Adelaide in the late morning and began to survey the scene. The woman, whose identity hasn't been publicly announced, is the 21st fatality on the state's roads this year, compared to 6 in 2022. Now, as you can see behind me, the major crash investigators are now here at the crash site. Of course, it is early days into their investigation, so we can expect more details as they come to hand. But Maddie, there is something seriously dangerous on South Australia's roads in 2023. Back to you.
Indeed there is, Daniel, thank you. Also making news today, the bushfire burning in Port Lincoln has been contained, with CFS confirming at least 6 buildings were destroyed in the inferno and upwards of 143 hectares of land. Even with today's milder weather conditions, plumes of smoke were still visible as they drifted into the nearby townships. With some unable to travel home last night, the Curtin Point Bowling Club, Port Lincoln Yacht Club and the city's RSL opened their doors to residents in need, turning them into makeshift evacuation centres. The Proper Bay and Western Approach roads have since reopened with the restricted speed limits in place. Broken Hill City Council has received a substantial grant from the state government to address a future problem. The funds will go towards creating and delivering a business case about the expected increase of air traffic in the region.
The move to get the grant funding wasn't just about tourism for the council, but also for the future of the city, especially with the new mining projects coming to the far west.
With the increase that we know will be happening around mining and the uplift in people wanting to live in this area, we also need to be able to facilitate the accommodation provision.
Council will take a strategic approach to the airport, which will transform it into a hub for industrial and commercial enterprise and deliver upgrades that meet the Civil Aviation Safety Authority's standards.
With that, we also need to be able to uplift some of the availability of the commercial aspects here at the airport to make it a viable proposition into the future. So well done to Council for applying through one of our funds.
In the past, business owners have said that growing the airport is a priority for Broken Hill, especially when getting people to move to the city.
Uplifting the runway is one thing, and also uplifting all the capacity around the airport will mean that businesses from a commercial perspective will want to be here, and it also enables far more tourism opportunities, larger groups to be here and bigger planes to come.
Council is excited for the future growth of the Silver City.
We really look forward to growing Broken Hill and really tapping into the mining projects that are coming online in the next decade or so.
Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
After last year's bumper return, Port Lincoln's Salt Festival is back again this year. The 10-day arts festival is hitting the Eyre Peninsula in April, with an emphasis on all things local.
Across multiple communities in the Southern Eyre Peninsula, Salt Festival is returning with something for everyone.
Coming into this year, it's just getting much bigger, and we can already see we've got lots more audiences flocking. Everyone's kind of excited, I think, and keen to see some things come out.
Although the focus is local, festival organisers are anticipating more visitors than ever.
A big part of the program is local, and people flock to the local stuff, and I think that's really great. And that's what kind of makes it very unique and special.
Included in the program is workshops, comedy events, circus acts, and much more. To wrap up the festival, there will be a 3-day immersive light and music show called Baylight, featuring an array of local artists on the Salt stage.
Salt stage, of course, we've got Josh Pike is coming, which is pretty cool. He's like a 5-time ARIA award winner, so that's going to be fun to see him on stage. We have, and then a couple of local bands.
And you can't go to a festival without grabbing a bite to eat, sampling the best of what the Eyre Peninsula has to offer.
Local drinks, local food. It's almost like a festival within a festival.
With so much to see and do, organisers urge everybody to come out and celebrate art, innovation and creativity in the EP. Alison Hall, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, the end of an era for in-person bankers as Westpac in Peteys shuts up shop. And state-of-the-art upgrades on the way for Clare Hospital to the tune of almost $5 million. Welcome back. Peteys' last bank has shut its doors, with Westpac pulling out of the mining town. While certain banking options are still available at the local Australia Post, the decision by Westpac has been slammed by the District Council.
The town folk of Peteys are now even more isolated after the area's last bank, Westpac, closed its doors today. The District Council fears the town will now further decline as a place for miners, tourists and those making a stopover.
Australia Post banking setup, you can only withdraw $2,000 a day, and you can only deposit $7,000 a day. So there's got to be people with large amounts of cash, and the next nearest bank is in Port Augusta, where you are.
Certain banking facilities will remain in place at the local post office, but for many elderly locals and Aboriginal people who don't use internet banking or those who need specific meetings, the nearest bank is over 5 hours away.
It's incredibly frustrating, and I get it that I could see how someone thinks that's not good enough. I know that currently there is a federal Senate inquiry which is looking into banking generally, and certainly the closure of regional banking services as part of that.
Peteys ATMs are also a cause for concern.
ATM at Peteys ran out of cash. As a result, residents could only withdraw cash from the post office during business hours or by driving 500 kilometres to Port Augusta.
The council hopes another bank could potentially set up shop as hundreds of thousands of dollars is exchanged weekly in the mining town. Daniel Pizarro, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Clare Hospital is set to receive a multi-million-dollar makeover. $4.8 million worth of upgrades will include state-of-the-art facilities and will hopefully help reduce the increasing pressure on metropolitan facilities, where up until now, locals have been forced to travel to.
Going to hospital is never a pleasant experience, but upgrades to the surgical suites will mean Clare locals can stay in their hometown, rather than travelling to Adelaide.
What it will enable us to do is provide those services in a much more up-to-date and safe environment than what we've been able to do recently.
As always, patient care and experience is paramount, and new sterilisation equipment will ensure that.
It's also fair to say a lot of the time the patients might not see too much what happens inside the theatre and CSSD, but certainly from a staff point of view, the facilities will be first class.
It's also hoped these upgrades will reduce the number of patients on wait lists for local procedures and attract practitioners to the area.
once you've got a group of people there, that group of people attracts new people, so it actually just keeps to grow and develop, and that's what we've seen through Clare.
A huge advocate for regional South Australia, Jeff Brock, was pleased to hear this news and hopes it keeps on coming.
Can I just say congratulations to the staff there and also the board for facilitating this and getting that $4.5 million grant there.
Annabelle Francis, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. A major makeover for Roseview Aged Care Service in Crystal Brook. And it's official. Port Lincoln is one of the most welcoming cities in the entire country. What Mayor Diana Mislov has to say. Welcome back. Older Australians should have access to cutting-edge facilities and healthcare regardless of their location. And now $500,000 has been allocated by the state government to upgrade the Crystal Brook and District Hospital's Roseview Aged Care Centre.
A fresh coat of paint can make a world of difference, but that's only the beginning of what's happening in Crystal Brook.
There will be a complete facelift which will include reflooring, there will be new carpet tiles, electrical upgrades to all rooms.
The upgrades will also provide residents with the opportunity to make the most out of the outdoors and all the benefits that come with it.
Very important that people continue to have those lifestyle activities and get outside and smell the fresh air and see the lawn growing and the bird life and those sorts of things.
Even with new equipment, it's the workers who make it 5-star. It's hoped through these upgrades that residents can receive the care they deserve in the comfort of their own hometown. And Jeff Brock hopes announcements like this keep on coming.
I know that Chris Pickens, the Minister, has been pushing a fair bit out into the regions, and I can congratulate the Minister for doing that. And the Minister, I'm asking for more money out here, for regional stuff out here, so again, I want to congratulate the Minister for doing this.
Annabelle Francis, 7 Spencer Golf News.
We all know Port Lincoln is one of the friendliest towns in Australia, but now it's official. Named the most welcoming town in South Australia and the third most welcoming in the nation, Port Lincoln is getting the recognition it deserves.
Port Lincoln has been labelled one of the best of the best. The seafood capital's positive tourist reviews have landed the township on Booking.com's most welcoming town list.
It's amazing to be number 1 in South Australia and number 3 nationally as the most welcoming city. Just amazing.
The Port Lincoln Council says the award really boils down to the city's friendly people.
So the public, our locals, they just want to welcome and embrace everyone that's coming to visit our beautiful city.
The new title is expected to drum up business across the tourism industry.
Every opportunity we get to be on the map is a good one. So this special branding is a real opportunity for our tourism marketing.
The Port Lincoln Mayor says this won't be the city's last award.
Yes, we're looking forward to seeing the benefits of this title, and we hope to win more titles because we deserve them.
And I can vouch for the town's welcoming spirit. With the bushfire raging on last night, I was unable to make it home and was taken in by a lovely Port Lincoln couple. What a place to be. Alison Hall, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Good on you, Ali. Stay with us after the break. Our cricket experts preview the games coming up this weekend. And 44 degrees in Port Augusta next week. We'll have the weather details with Alex Sykes. Welcome back. The Port Lincoln Cricket Association is getting to the pointy end of its competition. This weekend, Southern Air will take on Wayback, while Todd River faces off with Tasman. Let's check in with our experts to see what other teams are colliding further up the Gulf in this week's Cricket Tips.
Hello and welcome to round 7 of the Whyalla Cricket Association. This weekend we see Central Whyalla taking on Rupina. I think it's going to be a really good match this weekend. Last time these two teams played, Rupina actually won and was the first time they'd beaten Centrals for a while. I think Centrals will be out for redemption, and that's why I'm going to tip them this week.
15 rounds of cricket in Broken Hill cricket this season, and it comes down to the last minor round game to decide the minor premiership, with Norths taking on West This will be a very interesting game. Central's actually beating West last week through the cat amongst the pigeons. I think now North have probably edged into premiership favouritism, and I'm selecting North in this game. I think they've found a couple extra players since Christmas, which has made a difference to their side. In the other game, Central take on South. As I say, Central found form at the right time last week, reshuffled their batting order, and that looks to have worked, and I think they'll carry too many guns for the South side.
Hello and welcome to the final minor round of Port Pirie cricket. Starts with Wandera taking on Southport here at Memorial Oval from 10:30. A loss to either side could see them miss the finals, so this game should be a ripper. Wandera hold the upper hand coming into this match, having beaten Southport on all 3 occasions they have met this season. I'm tipping Wandera. At Port Oval, it's props who face Port Germain. Port Germain need to win this match and have Southport knock off Wandera to make the finals. Props are sitting pretty, 16 points clear at the top of the table. I'm tipping props.
G'day and welcome to round 10 of Port Augusta cricket. This should be an interesting round this week with both South Augusta and Corn taking part in the club championships down in Adelaide for the week. This could affect the way they perform on the weekend. Anyway, first game, Central take on Corn on Saturday at Edsa. Because of Corn were in Adelaide, I'm going to lean towards Central to beat Corn this week. The other match sees South Augusta take on West Augusta on Sunday at Edsa. Southsies are also having their ball on Saturday night, so this could also affect what happens on Sunday. So I'm going to go for Westies there. So there are my 2 winners, Centrals and West.
Should be some excellent matchups. Do head along if you get the chance. But it's time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather with Alex Sykes. Alex, much cooler conditions in Port Lincoln today, but that smoke was lingering around.
Yeah, that's right, Maddie. The latest from emergency services is to keep all doors and windows closed and put the air conditioner onto recirculation. Also be careful when driving as smoke may reduce visibility. And Maddie, expected weather conditions for the weekend mean the smoke will linger. Today, Port Lincoln recorded 25 degrees at 3:45. Broken Hill and Cooper Peedy both recorded very hot maximums of 42 degrees. Looking more broadly at today's weather map now, a full 10 degrees cooler in Port Augusta, 32 degrees there, 26 in Whyalla and Kadina, 29 in Port Pirie and 23 in the capital. Taking a look at the satellite image now, a large high-pressure system over the Tasman Sea will remain near stationary throughout the weekend. A ridge will dominate southern parts of South Australia over the weekend until a high-pressure system forms to the south of the Bight early next week. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Southerly winds 15 to 25 knots, turning southeasterly 10 to 15 knots in the late evening. Seas around a metre, increasing up to 1.5 metres by early evening. And south to southwesterly swell around a metre. A mostly sunny day in Port Lincoln, a high of 25 degrees there, down to 15 tonight. Between 13 and 26 in Cleve and Woodner, a sunny top of 35 degrees there. Blue skies in Whyalla as well, and a high of 28, between 19 and 32 in Port Augusta, and Kadina sunny and 29. Port Pirie and sunny, set to reach a high of 31, down to 11 in Clare tonight, 29 tomorrow. Broken Hill sunny and 35. The UV index is expected to reach an extreme level of 11, and the fire danger is also tipped at moderate. Taking a look further through the week now, starting with Sunday. Sunny conditions right across our map. 37 degrees on the way for Port Augusta and Woodner, 35 in Port Pirie and Broken Hill, and 31 in Whyalla. Moving on to Monday's outlook, sunny and 41 degrees in Woodner and Cooper Peedy. Port Augusta will also experience another day in the 40s. Partly cloudy and 30 degrees in Port Lincoln, and a sunny top of 29 in Port Pirie. 38 over the border in Broken Hill. And finally, taking a quick look at Tuesday's weather map now, and the mercury is creeping back up. 42 is forecast for both Port Augusta and Woodner, warmer than Cooper Peedy's 41. 41 in Port Pirie too, 39 in Broken Hill, mostly sunny and 28 on the way for Port Lincoln. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. I hope you have a great weekend, Maddie. I hear you're going to a wedding.
I am Alex, thank you, but not mine. And that's the local news this Friday. I'm Madeline Kerr. From all of us here, thanks for joining us. I'll have updates a little later. But until then, enjoy your evening and your weekend. Good night.